Have you ever been arguing with someone and you know that they're wrong, but they are just convinced that they're right? Well, those are the people that cut the tops off of crepe myrtles. They are absolutely wrong, but they're 100% convinced that they're right. Let's talk about it. Now, we go through this every year because it seems like every year people will comment on videos defending why they cut the tops off of their crepe myrtles and saying that it's actually good for them when it's actually not. So I'm gonna run through the top arguments I hear one by one and debunk them. First off are the people that say, well, I cut my crepe myrtle every year and it blooms beautifully every year. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Your crepe myrtle is not blooming beautifully because you cut it off. It's blooming beautifully in spite of you cutting it off. In fact, by cutting the tops off of your crepe myrtle, you are actually harming that tree. Is it going to kill it? No. Is it going to make it weaker and cause other issues? Yes. The first problem you will find when you cut the tops off of your crepe myrtle is you are going to delay your blooms significantly, probably by about 6 to 8 weeks. Because when your crepe myrtle breaks dormancy in the springtime, instead of just being able to sprout new leaves and then flower, it now has to grow completely new branches as it grows before it can flower. In other words, if you had two identical crepe myrtles next to each other, one of them gets cut off at the top, the one that was not cut from the top will start blooming 6 to 8 weeks sooner than the one that was cut. Which not only means that you will get blooms earlier in the spring, but you can actually get 1 or 2 more bloom cycles throughout the year by simply not cutting your crepe myrtles off. It also leads to poor branch structures, weaker limbs, and it also weakens the tree over time because it's going to have to put out so much extra energy regrowing the branches each year. And a weaker tree is going to be more likely to get aphids and scale and other types of insects or diseases that those trees may be susceptible to. The next argument I hear is, well, my crepe myrtle is just way too big for the spot that I have it, so I have to cut it in order to keep it at the size that I need it because maybe it's covering up your security lights, your cameras, or it's getting into the soffit of your house. And those are all very valid reasons to not have a super tall tree or shrub in those spots. But the real problem is somebody, probably you or the person that lived in the house before you, planted the wrong shrub or tree in that spot. If the height is giving you issues, then there shouldn't have been a tree planted there. You should have planted either a dwarf variety of crepe myrtle or a completely different plant that doesn't want to grow to that size. So in those cases, you'd probably save yourself some work by just getting rid of that plant and replacing it with something that you don't have to hack down every year. Now, does this mean that crepe myrtles shouldn't be pruned? No, they just shouldn't be topped. They should be pruned. What you're going to do when you're pruning crepe myrtles is taking off lower branches from the base of the tree if you want it to be a tree form. And then also you can thin out the canopy of your crepe myrtle by looking for any branches that are touching or crossing or growing too close to each other and thinning them out. That's going to allow more sunlight and a healthier plant and a better structure overall that's going to be stronger. Now, I think a big part of why people cut the tops off of crepe myrtles is just because they see other people doing it and they think that that's what you have to do. Or maybe it's because landscapers really need something else to bill to their customers, and so they're trying to find work in the wintertime to do. Whichever it is, it's not the correct thing to do. So let's collectively try to work together to stop this madness of cutting the tops off of your crepe myrtles and do proper pruning techniques.